My name is David DeSantos. I am an actor, a working actor. There you go.
And a writer, really.
And a writer, and I guess a producer. And yeah, I guess. Sure, let's go with that. Doing a show right now over at Antaeus. We're doing Cloud 9, and Armin Shimmerman is a company member there. And I got to be a spear carrier at the Theatricum Botanicum out of Topanga. And Armin was about to get cast in Deep Space Nine, and he was playing Richard III. He only played Richard III for about 1 week. It was double cast with a guy named Milan Dragicevic. And I remember watching Armin do the opening monologue. I was young. I was 18, 19 years old. Again, I say I was a spear carrier. I literally held a scabbard for 90% of the show. But I was the scrivener also, but I read my lines off of a parchment. Do you remember that? And I just remember Armin's gentleness with the language, and also the sexiness in finding the turns with Richard III. But that was when I was still kind of a kid. So it was more of observing the power of it rather than speaking it, which wouldn't come until when I was up at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival and getting to play Laertes for a whole year. And opposite this guy, actually right there, Dan Donahue. I highlight that. We did an audiobook version of it. And so this is our production of the 2010 Hamlet up at OSF. So getting to do that right there, sort of having it immortalized. I was Edgar, poorly, the bad Edgar. I was too young. The director at the time, I won't mention his name, but we were doing it at Cal Shakes, and he said we got through tech of, it was the first run, first tech of it. This guy, Rick Rizzo, who was up at OSF, was our leader. He was genius. And we got to my notes for Edgar's first speech, and he said, "I've only heard that monologue performed correctly once, and you're not doing it." So he didn't give me any adjustments on it either. So I don't know what I was supposed to do. So I never got that right. So that was cool. And then I got to do Edmund many years later, and that man who directed me was playing Lear in that production at Kansas City Rep. And I would sit in the wings for Act 4, Scene 6, I guess. And I would watch him do his mad scene every single night. So I watched it 47 times. He's an extraordinary actor. A miner, not as in a child, but someone who's able to mine. We're talking to some actors in rehearsal the other day, is that we have a tendency not to trust the text as much. We have I think, even if you're in Los Angeles and you're doing film and TV, we forget that the writer has given us all the clues of what to do, and Shakespeare is a master of giving us all the clues. So if we just follow the roadmap, follow the map, it's really allowed me to trust every writer more and understand punctuation more, and that if I trust that no writer, and I understand how many cooks are in the kitchen, you know, when it comes to like film and TV, that nothing, no word or piece of punctuation or anything is arbitrary. And so, because we don't actually know what the punctuation is in Shakespeare, we have the first folio, obviously, and that's sort of our closest way in. But because I trusted him so much, it's allowed me to trust all the other writers now. I wanted to come up with like a really great story as to why I was trying to get into the mind of a character who is so polarized with his views of sort of morality versus desire and want, but really it was because I learned it for an audition. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And Angelo's like the dark character of the play. And then, of course, you study the play more and you find out all this stuff that I said earlier. What's this? What's this? Is this her fault or mine? The tempter or the tempted? Who sins most? Ha. Not she, nor doth she tempt, but it is I, that lying by the violet in the sun, do as the carrion does, not as the flower, corrupt with virtuous season. Can it be that modesty may more betray our sense than women's lightness? Having waste ground enough, shall we desire to raise the sanctuary and pitch our evils there? Oh, fie, fie, fie. What dost thou? Or what art thou, Angelo? Dost thou desire her foully for those things that make her good? Oh, let her brother live. Thieves for their robbery have authority when judges steal themselves. What do I love her? That I desire to hear her speak again and feast upon her eyes. What dost I dream on? Oh, cunning enemy, that to catch a saint with saints dost bait thy hook. Most dangerous is that temptation that doth goad us on to sin in loving virtue. Never could the strumpet, with all her double vigor, art, and nature, once stir my temper, but this virtuous maid subdues me quite. Never till now, when men were fond, I smiled and wondered how.